Welcome to the showcase on electronic bank guarantees. We'll be covering the benefits of eBGs via NeSL, a demo of how the eBG process works, the NeSL eBG process works via Leegality, and holding an open question and answer session at the end. Before we begin, some house rules. If you have any questions during the webinar, please ask them in the Q&A box below. We may answer it then and there if anything we're saying at that point in time relates to the question, or we'll pick it up at the end after the showcase is done. Two, at the end of the showcase, which will take about 30 minutes max, we'll throw open the floor for an open question and answer session where you can actually raise your hand and speak. So with that out of the way, let's begin. First, with some quick introductions. I'm Aditya, Head of Marketing at Leegality, and I'm joined by Anshul, a product manager at Leegality. She's the product manager who's actually in charge of the eBG suite that you will be seeing today. A quick introduction of Leegality. For those who are new to us on this webinar, we are currently serving multiple verticals of more than 20 banks, helping them digitize their paperwork execution processes end to end. Till date, we've been used for a wide variety of core banking paperwork use cases, from loan agreements, locker agreements, CASA forms, merchant agreements, vendor agreements, and even sometimes employee agreements. The aim of the game is very simple. It's making all paperwork in banks completely digital. With the launch of NeSL eBG and the Leegality eBG suite, we've added a whole new use case that we can now digitize: electronic bank guarantees. We're extremely excited to, for the first time in public, showcase the Leegality eBG suite. In a sense, the eBG suite is a departure from our core product. Our core product is a document execution platform designed to completely digitize the execution process end to end for documents. Till now, for any new document to be executed via platform, let's say you have a new use case, it was simply a matter of the client, let's say the bank or an NBFC, coming in with a new use case and simply plugging into our existing platform for that new document. We did not need to make any platform changes for any new use case. Simply upload that document and use that document for your workflow. With eBG, it turned out to be slightly different. So one is, of course, the eBG infrastructure is managed by NeSL and created by NeSL. So there is extra integration that needs to be done to go live with eBGs. Two, we initially started to build just that, like for execution of eBGs, from creation to signing to stamping to IU submission. But as we built this module out, we realized that the core use of an eBG is post-issuance. The document is actually a truly living, breathing document with a proper life cycle that kicks in after issuance. So we realized that banks would not use a digital eBG product if it just focused on the execution leg, but it also needed to meet the core needs of the rest of the eBG lifecycle. So in a slight departure from our core execution focus, we realized it was finally time to build a supplementary product, which is the NeSL eBG suite. And that's what it is: a complete eBG lifecycle management product usable within the Leegality platform. We'll show you a demo in a bit. It consists of multiple features geared towards easy issuance and lifecycle management of eBGs in India. And so this is not just confined to signing and stamping, but also IU submission, event notifications to relevant bank teams, real-time notifications for any eBG updates, and the ability to take action on issued eBGs for various action items via an easy-to-use dashboard. So in about 5 minutes, Anshul will show you a demo of what this is and how exactly it works. But first, I need to address the number one question we receive when we pitch this. That is, I've already onboarded for NeSL eBG. Why do I even need to consider Leegality for eBGs? So let's look at the overall landscape of bank guarantees in India today. You either have physical bank guarantees or electronic bank guarantees. With electronic, you either have a self-managed eBG or a Leegality eBG suite. That's what we're going to show you today. And I think most of you are on this call because you understand the overall need to move away from physical to electronic bank guarantees, because electronic bank guarantees just promise a smooth experience. So then the real question is, why not a self-managed one? Self-managed NeSL eBG versus NeSL eBG via Leegality. There are 5 key pain points that we've identified based on speaking to various banks that hinder the self-managed eBG integration at scale. One, to implement it properly, you need to do all the tech integrations yourself. So there's multiple APIs and stages that you need to integrate because it's quite a complex product, because that's what the eBG lifecycle needs. So you would have to devote time that you would spend on a large API integration for the eBG use case as well. And this adds to your tech costs. This adds to your timelines for implementation. But that's not enough. Once you're done with implementing it, it's not the end of the road, because NESL keeps releasing new updates, versions, and features to eBG. So you will need a tech effort down the line as well to keep your eBG integration up to date. And this, of course, slows you down later on, because your IT team might be free today to do the first go live for eBG. But 6 months down the line, when there's a critical new update released by NESL, your IT team may not be available for the project at that moment in time. So that's another issue. And this includes basic stability and server management that you need to figure out on your end to keep this running. 3, of course, you can only eSign via a single connection, and this is usually great. But a single point reliability for eSign means a single point dependency at the stage of issuance. So if the single connection is down, your eBG process also could face downtime. The fourth reason and fourth pain point we saw is that authorized signatories have to manually sign each eBG. And this can slow things down. And even in the physical process, you have to run around for authorized signatories to sign. So this digital process can sometimes retain the same physical pain point. And finally, the eBG process has a lot of communication, like when your bank teams need to know when a beneficiary has performed a certain action and then take action on it. And then communication when that action itself has been completed. So communication of various stages to various stakeholders is critical to a bank guarantee management process, not just a eBG process, but a bank guarantee management process. And in the status quo, it means a lot of emails, WhatsApp, calls, things like that. This is the same pain point that's there in physical as well. It adds to time and effort and creates a risk of things getting missed out on. So these were the 5 key pain points we saw in banks related to low NESL eBG usage. And that's exactly where we decided to build something to make it easier, the Leegality NESL eBG suite. With this, we solve these 5 key pain points to ensure not only are you onboarded with NESL eBG, but that you are actually using NESL eBG at scale and applying it to fully digitally transform your eBG process. So 1, for instance, the Leegality eBG suite does not require any IT or tech effort from your side to get started. It's India's only dashboard interface for end-to-end eBG lifecycle management. You don't need to scramble around for your IT or tech team's time. If you onboard with us for the eBG suite, you can go live from tomorrow because it's straight through the dashboard, which Anshul will show you in a few minutes. 2, the suite and the Leegality team handles all NESL updates and stability issues for maintaining the entire flow without your IT or tech team having to get involved or lift a finger. You simply start using Leegality NESL eBG. There's nothing your IT or tech team needs to do to actually maintain this integration, maintain this implementation, or ensure that it's the most updated version of the flow that you're using. 3, the eBG suite supports multiple backup modes of eSign apart from the single connection, ensuring an increased uptime for your eBG processes. 4th, bank side signatures can be affixed automatically based on certain conditions. So you don't have to run around for authorized signatory signatures. We do this automated authorized signatory process for other types of banking products as well. We're already doing it at scale. We are extending that feature and facility for eBGs as well. And finally, 5th, all communication involved can now be automatically set and triggered to each stakeholder as and when it happens on their email, on their SMS, things like that. And this automatically happens via the eBG suite. So for internal coordination, you don't really need to spend mind space on it. Our notification system works to ensure that you get the info, each team gets the info when they need it and can easily take action when they need to without really missing anything, because it automatically sends out those notifications. So with these 5 key benefits, the eBG suite, we believe, is exactly what you need to convert your bank guarantee process into a fully digital electronic bank guarantee process via the NESL platform forever. So with that out of the way, let's come straight to the demo. Let's show you what the product actually looks like. Over to you, Anshul.
Thank you, Aditya. Hi, everyone. I welcome you all to our eBG Suite webinar. I'm Anshul. I'm product manager here at Leegality. So, as many of you already know, that with bank guarantee, there are three key participants that are there. One is the applicant who goes to the bank and requests for a bank guarantee. Second is the beneficiary who receives the bank guarantee from the bank on applicant's behalf. Third is the issuing bank who issues the bank guarantee. Now, when an applicant submits the step number one, when applicant submits the bank guarantee application to the bank, conducts its due diligence, and after it is approved, they create a document, a bank guarantee document. Now, this document will need to get e-stamped and e-signed. Let's see how we can use Legality's platform to get it e-stamped, e-signed, and get it registered into NeSL's IU portal. And after that, how its life cycle can be managed. We'll see all of that. In my first part of the demo, I'll show you the issuance flow, and then we'll come to the life cycle and see invocation and other events. So, presenting my screen. Aditya, can you please confirm if
Yeah, Anshul, we can see it.
All right. So this is Legality's dashboard. In here, you can, if you have API integrations with you, and if you are an API forward client, you can have API integration directly with our flow. If you want to have bulk upload creation for document, you can use our Excel flows. Alternatively, as Aditya was saying, we also have a very interactive interface for the bank guarantee, and we provide you with the dashboard, so you can actually come and execute each and every bank guarantee through our Legality dashboard. So on this dashboard, I'll go ahead and create a new document. So let's say by this time I already have that bank guarantee document with me. So I just simply need to upload it. So here it is. So I've uploaded the document. Alternatively, I can also select a pre-existing template from my legalities template inventory, and I can use that also. For now, I've uploaded this PDF document. Now I need to turn this toggle on, which says that NeSL's eBG flow. Through this, my system knows that this is an eBG flow that is happening. So I've added the document, I have toggled this on. I'll go to the next step. On this screen, I will add the invitees who I want to sign. So typically, as per the market standard, two bank officers typically sign a bank guarantee document. Only the bank signs the document. Applicant and beneficiaries typically don't sign the document. So I'll go ahead and add Anshul as branch officer. Who's going to sign the document? I'll add their email ID. So in the interest of time, I'll just add one signer here who's going to sign the bank guarantee document. In the signature type, I'm selecting NeSL because I want the branch officer to sign via NeSL. So I'll add NeSL here. Now, we are not just using NeSL to get your document e-stamped and e-signed, but NeSL also acts as an information utility. So we'll also need to provide it with some additional data points that is required. So I've already added the bank's information. For applicant and beneficiary, I'll go here and toggle this on and provide two here. One is for the applicant and second is for beneficiary. So I'm just giving the total count of non-signing parties that are going to be there. Since I've already added the bank officer in the where I was adding the signer, here I'll just add two for the applicant and beneficiary. Their details I'll add in the later step. So after doing that, I'm good to go. I'll go next. At this point, because NeSL, as I said, is also acting like an information utility, I need to provide with some additional data points. So these are the data points that are required by NeSL. So event type that you are selecting, state, stamp related details, signers detail who are going to sign this document, non-signing parties details. So all of that is required. Now, if you are an API forward client, if you have already integrated the APIs, the data can simply flow from the API. You don't need to go ahead and fill this form manually. Alternatively, if you can go ahead and of course fill the form, we have put in validation so that there is no mistake that can happen on this form. Whatever is mandatory, we have also highlighted that. Alternatively, you can also upload in Excel like this. This can come from your LOS, CBS, and you can directly upload this Excel. And once you do that, your information would automatically get populated here. Since, as I said, that we have already placed validations on this form, for example, this is a mandatory field and somehow it got missed, so it is highlighted to me. So I don't have to fill the form and then get to know, okay, this particular point was missed. Okay, so now the form looks fine. I've added the event type as issuance since I'm going to issue this bank guarantee. I've added the state, total outstanding amount, expiry date, claim expiry date, all of these information points are added. In stamp section, I've added the first party and second party details, stamp duty amount, who's going to pay the stamp duty, and the article code, the mapped article code with this. In the invitee section, I've added the details of the bank officer, the branch officer. Here, I selected the contract relationship, the relation as creditor because NESL calls bank and they use the term creditor for the banks. So that's why I selected creditor here. Similarly, I've added the applicant and beneficiary details. Just as with bank, which NSL calls creditor, NSL also calls applicants as debtor. So that's why I selected contract relationship as debtor, and I've also used the name as Anshul debtor. So debtors are actually the applicants. With beneficiary, I have added the same details. So one thing to note here is that most of the details are optional for applicant and beneficiary because banks usually don't have all the information points on beneficiaries. So most of them are non-mandatory. All right, so this form looks good. Once I've gone through it, I can go ahead and submit the form. This is the final stage where I review the document. I see where the signature is going to get placed. I can just take a final look at the document. And once I'm satisfied, I can click on the send button. And the sending part is done. So once you have a document, it's as easy to send it to your signers for signing that this bit is done. So at this point, so as I can see, this is now active and the
I think,
first.
Anshul, before you proceed, I think we have a hand raised. So I would request that you raise your hand at the end if you have a question. We'll have an open Q&A at the end. Otherwise, you can actually ask in the Q&A box below, and we'll try and answer it if it's relevant to the demo right now. Otherwise, at the end, in about 10 minutes, we'll be having an open Q&A where we'll unmute you and we can have a discussion and stuff. We just don't want to derail the demo with because if we throw open the floor for questions, then we may not be able to complete the demo. Yeah, go ahead, Anshul.
This is the final screen which the sender of the document gets to see. So they can see who all were the invitees. So in this case, I just added one branch officer, so I can see them here. This invitation is active. It is not signed yet, but this is active. So I can go ahead and sign this. So the branch officer can go ahead and sign this document. And if I want to see the document, I can see it from here. This is part of our newly launched dashboard. So you can explore that also later. So now getting to the second part of the journey. So first I had already sent the document. The second part of the journey would be for the branch officer to go ahead and sign the document. So let's see how the journey would look like for a branch officer who's going to sign this eBG document. I'll open the flow here. So we send emails, and through this email, they can typically land on the screen. So for signer, first the authentication is done, and then they can go ahead and stamp and e-sign the document. So first part of authentication is CAPTCHA authentication. Okay, so now once I've authenticated through CAPTCHA, I need to enter the OTP. So OTP is sent to the number which was entered in the NESL form that we were filling. So waiting for the OTP to come. Okay, got it. Yeah. After authenticating with OTP, I first land on this preview screen where I preview the document that has been added. Once I've previewed it, I can click on I agree to give the consent to move forward. And here I land on this screen. In this screen, I get to see the details that I had added for the stamp in the stamp section of my form. So I had added first party as Anshul creditor 1. I had added second party as Anshul beneficiary. This is the stamp duty amount that I added. So all of that is flowing from the NESL form that we had filled. So I'll click on proceed with e-stamp. Now an e-stamp has gotten generated for the state that I had mentioned. So now, and if you notice, it is also been affixed on top of the document that was there. So this stamp is now affixed on top of the document that was already there. I can take another look at it. If everything looks fine, I can click on close, and as you can see, the e-stamp status is now turned to success. So stamping would be done only for the first signer. If you have multiple signers, if stamping would get done only for the first signer, of course, and for subsequent signers, they'll just simply land on this screen where they'll be e-signing. So first I need to give the e-sign consent. Select the signing methods. So the available methods are OTP-based signing, biometric-based signing, and e-token-based signing. I'll select OTP-based and click on this button. So now I'm taken to an ESP page where I would sign using Aadhaar. So I'm required to enter my Aadhaar number, agree to consent, and request OTP. I've received the OTP. So I'll perform the e-sign. So with these 4 steps, the signer is able to sign the document and get it e-stamped as well. Okay, so the document is signed. So if sender goes to their screen and check, now it will be shown as that it has been signed successfully. And if I see the document, I can see that here, earlier I was just able to see the document only. Now a stamp paper is also affixed from here. As a sender, I can download the document. I can also download the audit trail that is there. So this completes the second part. So we know now how to send a document and how a signer would sign the document. What would the journey look like for them? Now, at this point, I would also like you to see that these are the notifications that NeSL sends to the beneficiary, debtor, or applicant or bank. So here, this is a notification sent to a beneficiary where they include all the details like bank guarantee number, who was the applicant, who were the beneficiary, and all the other details. It is sent to bank, beneficiary, and applicant, all 3 of them. So now the issuance flow is done. Now let's see how, in case a beneficiary wants to invoke this eBG, how can they do that? So for beneficiaries, NeSL provides them with an IU portal, as they say in their email also, that you can log into your IU portal to access or download bank guarantee issued by bank. So they can use this portal and other portals like JEPNIC, GEM, etc. to raise notifications or raise event requests like invocation, amendment, cancellation, etc. They can use those portals. So I'll show you that. This is the NeSL's IU portal. Sorry, this is NeSL's portal from where beneficiaries can log in and see the list. So let's see how the flow would look like for beneficiaries. So as a beneficiary, I would log in into this portal using the credentials that are given to me by NeSL. Yeah. So I land here in the DDE section. I click on electronic bank guarantee. And here I see list of all the documents, all the bank guarantee documents where I am involved. So I can see list of all of them. Here I can also see the details of actions that have been taken on those bank guarantees. I can also download the document if I want. So if I click here, I can see the document along with the stamp, of course, and I can download it from here. So as a beneficiary, I get to do all of that from NeSL's portal. And along with that, I can also raise my event requests. For example, if I want to invoke the bank guarantee, I can simply go to this portal, click on that button, and now raise a request. So first, I need to select the event for which I want to raise a request. For example, here I want to invoke this bank guarantee. So I can click on invocation here. If I want to upload a supporting document, I can also do that. This is optional though, but beneficiaries can do that if they want. So I've uploaded that. Then they need to add the invocation amount. Let's add this. Account holder details. So these are the bank details that they need to provide. These are the information points that eventually go to bank, and so that they can use this for invocation purpose. So I'll add that detail. Account number, bank name, IFSC code, and optionally I can also add contact person information for the beneficiary if I want to add. Now this is non-mandatory, but I can still go ahead and add that. I can also add mobile number. Now this needs to be a valid mobile number, and similarly I can also add email ID. So contact person section is non-mandatory. As far as remarks are concerned, this is a mandatory field. They need to add details about why they want to invoke this or any additional detail that they want to provide. So I'll just simply add sample mandatory remarks from beneficiary. Okay, I've entered all the information. I need to agree to this consent that I don't have any object in authenticating myself because I need to e-sign this request to submit it. So once I've added all the details, I'll select type of e-sign that I want to do. So I've selected Aadhaar based e-sign. I'll click on eSign and submit. So now I'm also told that you are being directed to ESP page. So a beneficiary would need to e-sign the request first. So again, the same process where I enter my Aadhaar number, give consent, request OTP. So waiting for OTP to come. Yeah, got it. So once I've given my OTP and it is verified, my request would get submitted and I land back on the screen. And this time I would also see a success message which says that the document has been digitally signed for eBG reference number this and invocation request is submitted. Now, so basically the request has been submitted from beneficiary and it has been sent to the bank. So this completes a third part where we wanted to see how a beneficiary can go to their portal. One of the portal is NeSL's portal, and they can raise a request. And this time we have raised a request for invocation. Now let's go back to bank's side and see how this request would look at their end. And Leegality has created a complete dashboard through which these requests can be handled. So let's go back to our dashboard. So on this dashboard, where we started our sending journey, in the left-hand panel, in the eBG notification section, I can see all the notifications that have been sent from the beneficiaries. So yeah, here I'll select to show you all the notifications. As I can see, there are a few notifications that have been already been accepted, few have been rejected, things that are pending. I can go ahead and review them. So the entire list I can view from here. So if I go ahead and
So Anshul, is this only for invocation, like an invocation status, or is it all the eBG
so
events that are there?
So no, it's actually for all the events that are there. You can, if you want to check for amendment, you can select the event type as amendment. By default, all the events are shown. So for example, invocation is shown here like this. So this is the invocation request that I had created. So it is still pending. So this is how you can actually go ahead and see all the requests. So as a reviewer, I can see if a new request has come. It is marked in pending, and I click on review. So I can see all the section, all the details. For example, in the request, so I can see that it was created from NeSL portal. I can see the type of request as beneficiary. This is the invocation amount. What are the remarks? I had entered sample mandatory remarks from beneficiary. I can see that here. And I can also see who has requested for this. Anshul beneficiary has requested for this. What are the bank details? So I can see all of that here. CP details I can also see from here. So all the request details are shown here. If there's a supporting document that is added, so I can also see it from here. And yeah, so I can see it from here. And in the participant details, I can see who all were the participants. I can see the applicant, beneficiary, bank, all of that, and other details that are part of that file. For example, the reference number, outstanding amount, all of that I can find from here. If everything looks fine, I can go back to my teams. For example, advances team might be there who want to take another look at it. And if they've finally taken a decision to accept or reject it, I can accept or reject this request from here. So let's say I accept it. So I am required to mandatorily add remarks from bank side. So accepting it. Yeah. So it has gone accepted. It has been accepted now. And if you will see it here, now it comes under accepted section. So this is how banks can accept or reject these requests. So if I show you few cases where we have rejected the request. So in this case, we have rejected the request and I can see why it has been rejected. These are the remarks. You can see the details from here for all the requests that are there.
That was
So
the in requester remark. There's also the bank remark, I think, in that.
yes, so in status, I can see okay, I think, yeah, so the requester remarks are added here. And in status, we should actually write this as bank remarks, but yeah, this is by bank. In the status section, it
Got
is
it
by
under status section. Understood.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Anshul.
No, so I was just saying that this completes our section where we see how banks can actually accept, reject the requests and assess them. And I just wanted to talk about reviewers next. How can you add reviewers? But before that, do you want to add something, Aditya?
No, go ahead. I think I'll come in after reviewers.
As we saw that banks can accept or reject these requests like this, with legality you also get an option to redirect these requests effectively. For example, we understand that for invocation only a certain department would be able to take a call. For cancellation or closure, the request can simply be redirected to the branch officer. It does not need to be redirected through another branch, through another vertical. So you can manage who gets to actually accept or reject a type of request based on a certain event, and you can configure that into the system. So you can simply do that by going to your department settings, and in the NeSL config, you can configure your eBG event reviewers. So for each event type, you can create up to 3 users who can accept or reject it. So whenever a event request comes, for example, an event request came for invocation, so all the reviewers who are here, they'll receive a notification, but only the reviewer who's added in invocation section here, this is in reviewer 1, reviewer 2, and this final reviewer, they can accept or reject it. So it also says here that reviewers configured below will receive notification for all their events regardless of their event type. Only the reviewers who are part of this event will be able to accept or reject requests for that particular event. So I was logged in through this account, so that because I was added as a reviewer for invocation, that is why I was able to accept or reject this. So that is how you can configure reviewers for different event types and manage who can actually accept or reject this. I also want to show you one more thing, that when a request is raised, we also send these emails to the reviewers. For example, in this case, a partial invocation, this is a separate email that I have taken up. A partial invocation request has been raised for this eBG with file number this, and these are the details. We also send emails because these emails don't get directly sent by NeSL, but we think it is important that the reviewers who are going to review this file, they should receive these emails. So we have included some details from the notification, and we have included that in the email so that you understand the basics and you are able to identify which file is this, and you can also directly accept or reject it from the mail itself. So if you are the reviewer, you would get a CTA here, a button here from which you can directly land on your dashboard. So yeah, this completes the entire bit that I wanted to
Great.
cover.
Anshul, if you can just show the eBG state logs, the eBG event statuses on the Leegality dashboard once more before we switch to the deck.
Sure.
So this actually ties back. This is your eBG homepage on Leegality. So if you notice two things, one, the eBG suite itself encompasses way more than execution, but it's still contained within the Leegality dashboard. So if you're a Leegality user, you still get some of that familiarity, a lot of that familiarity, but you can use it in new ways when it comes to eBG. The second thing is that, okay, sorry, my video is off. The second thing is that all of these events, there are about 7 events, if I'm not wrong, 7 or 8 events that you can do. The dashboard brings them all together so that each event is simply a click away. And of course, to send it for issuance, it's a few clicks away, as Anshul showed you in the demo. Without this, essentially tying back to what I was saying earlier in theory, in practice, without this dashboard, what you'd have to do in a self-managed integration is either build a dashboard for yourself where you're plugging in all the various APIs to create this interface for your banking teams, or get it, of course, specifically and uniquely built by a vendor specifically for you, or specifically ultimately use it via API and have it in your software system. So essentially the dashboard saves you that effort, and you can literally switch it on. Once you've onboarded with us, you can literally log in and start using it from day one without any integration or implementation effort. And if any new eBG features are launched by NeSL, they are automatically added by us to this without any extra effort or any technical effort needed on your part. So again, that's the eBG suite, essentially a tool to a platform, a software to manage your entire eBG lifecycle from a single easy to use dashboard. No IT team involvement, no tech team involvement is needed at all. So you can actually start using NeSL's eBG from day one if you simply plug into the Leegality eBG suite. If you can go to the next slide. So how do you get started? Some of you are already existing Leegality customers. If you're an existing Leegality customer, then simply contact your Leegality POC. You can also write to us at support@leegality.com if you're an existing Leegality customer. So these are the two options available for you if you want to extend your Leegality usage to eBGs as well. If you're not a customer yet, you can write to us at enquiry@leegality.com saying you're interested in the NeSL eBG suite by Leegality, or saying you're interested in the Leegality eBG suite, or just with the word eBG if you want, whatever is more convenient. And if you want to generally stay updated with the latest in Leegality, our latest product updates, our latest case studies of clients that are working with us, as well as wider industry and regulatory updates like the new RBI KFS guidelines and how you can actually comply with these regulatory updates, simply scan this QR code. We have a WhatsApp and email updates facility. Once a week, we send out an update either on a new product, a new case study, or a wider industry or regulatory update that you would need to comply with, right? Along with usually a roadmap on how to comply. So if you want to stay in a loop, simply scan this QR code and sign up for either a WhatsApp or email facility. With that out of the way, Anshul, thanks so much for the demo. Do we have any questions? So I know there were a couple of hands raised during the demo. Apologies that we couldn't take it then. Please raise your hand now. Feel free to raise your hand now. We'll give you mic access and you can ask your question. Otherwise, you can ask it in the Q&A box and we'll take it up. So are there any questions or any comments by anyone in the audience? Yep, there's a hand raised. So I'll just give you mic access. Yeah, Viral, you have mic access, so you can unmute and ask your question.
Hi. So basically, for the deck which you have showed, so that particular system has to get integrated with the bank interface, or how is it going to work?
No. So integration is completely an option for you if you want to, and if you mandatorily want your bank people to only access it via a bank interface, that integration is available. But NeSL eBG suite is also plug and play. So this dashboard that Anshul showed you, you can have strict user access control. You can assign users within the bank and you can use it out of the box as your bank interface. So both options are available to you. Most banks that we've seen implement this use it through the Leegality Dashboard itself rather than building their own interface, because the electronic bank guarantee volumes are not like, say, retail loan agreements where there's thousands per day. They're low volume but very high value. So they prefer to focus their time on going live as fast as possible and using the dashboard itself as the bank interface with, of course, strict access and user control. We even support your bank SSO if that's needed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's one more hand raised. Yeah, Amit, I've given you mic access. Feel free to unmute and ask.
Hi, Anshul. They wanted to ask if FC, ICICI, or Kotak, any of this particular team is using in this particular Leegality platform?
Do you mean Leegality or do you mean eBG specifically?
No, Leegality.
Yes, Amit. So in ICICI Bank, we're live in about 3 to 4 verticals, including two-wheeler lending and other auto loans, KYC flow as well. With HDFC Bank, we are live with their HDFC merged entity verticals for both partner onboarding as well as top-up loans.
But are they using eBGs for bank
Not
guarantee
eBGs.
platform?
No. So we're not live with them for eBGs yet.
For ICICI?
Not for ICICI either. Not with eBG yet. It's
So
just a launch
who is-
platform. Yeah.
So who is using eBGs? Which bank is using eBG for this Leegality platform?
Yeah, you can also come in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's one bank live and two to three banks under implementation. The bank that's live is City Union Bank. Anshul, you can add if I've missed out on anything.
City Union Bank, okay?
Yeah. And 2 to 3 banks under implementation. Once they go live, we'll obviously notify their names as well.
Okay.
But, currently under implementation.
Okay. So post going through this entire demo, what I understood is customer will apply for bank guarantee through NeSL site. Correct? So he need not to have any access for legality. Correct?
Correct.
So after that, once he puts his request through NeSL, it will come to bank. It will be like the documentation part, whatever beneficiary information and the date and all those, the amount part and all these things, he will enter through NeSL. It will come to bank. So then users who has rights to use this legality in bank, they will download and they will act upon the request. Correct?
Can I answer this?
Yes, Anshul,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Yes, the applicant can come to bank in multiple ways. It can be typically typically applicants reach out to their existing banks, so they don't need to come through NeSL. They can directly go to their bank and request this. Once the bank is sure that once they've performed their due diligence, then they can create this document and use Legality's platform to leverage NeSL for stamping and e-signing.
So Amit,
let's
it starts, the legality platform starts when the bank team first comes in. At the first step of issuance, where the bank team has to come in, that's where the legality journey starts. The customer can reach the bank in multiple ways. So however, that's between you and the customer. But once the need for issuance starts, where the bank guarantee document has to be uploaded, the bank guarantee document has to be stamped, signed, and then of course submitted to IU, and then any management on that document like invocation, amendment, revocation, everything, this process and everything after can get managed by the bank team and the bank user via the legality platform.
No, so I just wanted to understand. Let's say as a customer, someone has raised a request through NeSL platform to bank. So all his documents, the draft BG, his information will flow through NeSL platform to bank. Correct? So once this flows, where bank will view it? In legality suite, if bank is enrolled for legality, or it will be through NeSL, so he has to download document and then again upload to a legality. How it works means how it is integrated to NeSL. That is what I want to understand.
Yes. So if in case the customer is sending you the document directly, then to manage it through legality, the bank person will have to download it and upload it on legality, and then the entire management and execution can be done via legality. So for that flow, the download and the upload will be required to put it within the legality eBG management ecosystem. So for that specific flow, because we've seen two types of customers coming in. One is via NeSL directly, but the more common way that we've seen, at least for City Union Bank, is that they call up the bank, their bank POC or their bank RM or their bank directly. For that, of course, when they call up the bank and they arrange for the eBG document, then it's simply uploaded to legality. For the flow that you're suggesting, if the document is coming to the bank from the customer as an eBG document, then you would have to download it and upload it onto legality.
Okay. So once the customer sends document through NeSL or any platform or through email, let's say, what bank person will do is he will download this document, he will take the information, and while uploading this to legality, he will also have to input some of the information like beneficiary name, the amount, the expiry of bank guarantee, correct?
Absolutely, because the bank will be the final issuer of the bank guarantee.
So
ultimately.
here, okay, got
because ultimately the customer can only send you the draft, but the final bank guarantee itself would fundamentally need to have the stamp of the bank and issued finally by the bank.
So this part would be manual, means the bank person will have to input all this related information along with the document on legality platform, and then the journey starts. Correct.
Correct. And for the data itself, you can either do it manually. If you're collecting the data in some system, then you can also upload an Excel. If that system generates a CSV or an Excel file, let's say in some cases in the core banking system, let's say the data is being collected, or there's a form on your website on which the data is being collected, and you have the data downloadable as a CSV, then the bank officer does not actually have to manually pull the data. they can simply upload the CSV or Excel onto Leegality and the NeSL form is automatically filled. That's a second option. Of course, the third option is a full stack API integration. But even without an API, it's either a manual fill with validation checks with a reviewer possible as well, where another bank officer can see whether that data is correct. Or you can, if you're getting the data in the form of an Excel or a CSV, you can directly just upload that Excel or CSV and the NeSL form is automatically filled out.
So I can ask my customer to provide a particular Excel or annexure along with the documents, wherein a bank officer can directly upload as a form of annexure, consolidating the request which is received in the entirety from various customers. This can be worked.
Amit, I think based on what you said, it can be worked out, but would want to obviously discuss the exact details of that use in more detail.
Let's say if there is one of the bank guarantee wherein the expiry of that bank guarantee is after 2 years, let's say in 2026, 31st March 2026, right? So then the beneficiary name would be there. So these are the information which I ask customer to fill in a Excel form while giving me the document, which my bank officer will not be. No, he will means we will reduce his efforts for inputting the data. Instead of that, what we will ask is customer to fill an annexure. So this annexure will be consolidated at the end of the day and directly uploaded on the legality suite. I'm just trying to ease that particular part of inputting the data or downloading the document, printing it, and then typing it out on the legality suite.
Yeah, I think that sounds technically feasible. From the way you're describing it, doesn't sound to me like that would be a problem, and that would definitely be a technical way to approach it. I just have two more questions, like from others. So if you can stay online for 2 minutes, we'll just take those questions.
Sure.
And then your mic access remains. I'll just address the other two questions as well. Yeah, Douglas, you have mic access, so you can speak and ask your question. Douglas, can you hear me? We can't hear you in case you're speaking.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, this is Hamas here from BG operation team. So I just joined a bit late, maybe after 5-10 minutes. So my views, as you said, there are two options. One is integrated solution for legality, whereby your legality system will be integrated with my core banking system. And the second one is an offline mode where the legality system will be in one place, and I'll book the transaction in my system, my CBS, my BG. I'll issue the BG, the PDF format or whatever the BG has to be issued, that the whole format will be issued. I'll be uploading this PDF file into this legality system with all the details of BG, like the name, beneficiary, everything. And with the NESL, with legality and with NESL, I can stamp that BG. That's what you showed me.
Correct.
I can select a state for a stamping, a relevant stamping and everything. Immediately I'll get that stamp appended to that BG, in the sense that that PDF file, what I've final BG, what I wish to sign it, that BG will be uploaded. And then there will be a signatories, maybe one signatory or two signatory, depending upon or three signatory, depending upon our agreement with legality.
Correct.
And this is how this BG will be issued in NESL. Like it will have three components majorly. One is my PDF file, which is the final BG copy. Second is my stamp thing, and the third is my signatures, the bank signatures.
Correct.
Now my query is, will this require the beneficiary to be compulsorily to be a member of NESL? Yes.
Yeah. Only few data points are required, but because this bank guarantee is going to get registered into NESL's information utility, their name, their PAN number, and their email, these are the data points that are required for beneficiary. These are required, yes.
But Anshul, does the beneficiary need to separately, I think the question was also, does the beneficiary need to separately register and onboard with
Yeah, he should become a member of NESL. That's what I'm trying to say.
So
He should be, right?
Okay, not at the point of issuing the bank guarantee. Bank guarantee can be issued even if the beneficiary is not registered with NESL at that point. But if the beneficiary wants to take subsequent steps, as I showed for invocation, then they need to log in into the NESL's portal. For that, they'll need to get registered with the NESL.
No, but my point is, both of you, suppose if the beneficiary, I'm just talking about maybe government beneficiary, if they are not the member of the NESL, can they at least, how do they accept the BG? Because I'm not going to give the paper wala BG to them, right? Now this is issued electronically to the beneficiary. Will they view it, and how they'll view it and how they'll take it this as a benefit, as a BG?
Got it, got it. So once the bank guarantee is signed by the bank officer or branch officer, so once everyone has signed that, NESL shoots email to all the parties that are involved. That will include your applicant, beneficiary, and the bank signers. So in that case, the beneficiary will get a notification saying that
Notification.
this is a bank guarantee that is issued to you. And if they want to access it and then change few things or like basically request an amendment or invoke it, then they need to go to the NESL portal.
Okay, so what you're saying is, even if the beneficiary, my sense is at least the applicant may or may not be have to be a member of NSL, because applicant, as you rightly said, he will come to a bank and give a request for issuing BG. That is
Correct.
okay. So as the bank, the issuing bank and the beneficiary should be a member of the NSL. Otherwise, because as you said, once the BG is signed and the stamp is updated and everything is done, the notification will go to the beneficiary. He is the person who should ultimately receive the BG, right? So he'll get the notification and click on the notification probably, and he'll get the BG downloaded, and the copy will be downloaded along with all the signatories and the stamps, so that he can use it as a original BG.
Correct. And along with that, I would also like to highlight one more point. It's not necessary that beneficiaries have to use NESL's portal. For
Okay.
example, there are some cases in Tamil Nadu where they use Jepni portal, especially the government beneficiaries. So they can just simply go to their portal, and then there in that portal they'll receive all the information and they can download the bank guarantee, request invocation, etc. from there directly as well. So it does not
What
matter.
is the portal? Jeffney portal.
Jepnic, GEPNIC.
Okay. So you are saying that even if I issue this BG in NESL, they'll get the, suppose the Tamil Nadu government is a beneficiary, they can get the notification over there, and they can download from the Japanese portal.
To their portal, yes. So there are few portals, especially these government portals, which are linked with NESL, and through those portals can also be used as we used NESL portal to raise requests, download bank guarantees, etc.
But how is a bank, as a issuing bank, as a BG issuing bank, how will be satisfied that the BG has actually reached the beneficiary, or he has seen it and he has accepted it, for example?
So when you get these requests from our experience, that you know these portal ID, that so portal ID is one of the parameters that is there part of the request. So that can be inputted. So while you are sending this, before sending it, you can get it verified from any SL that if this is a legit portal or not. But yeah, that is
No, I'm not talking about your portal. I'm talking about, so opposed to my signatures and the stamps and everything. Through legality, it is going to NESL. Via NESL, the BG is issued, and probably
Correct.
the beneficiary will receive it. They'll receive notification.
Correct.
Now, as a issuing bank, now if you come to the current way of BG issuance, it's a paper-based BG. I'm giving this paper rather stamped and signed BG to my applicant, who is acknowledging it, who's taking it, and then probably he's giving it to the beneficiary, and he'll be taking up acknowledgement. I'm sure he'll be taking acknowledgement. So right, so in this way, this BG authenticity or the acknowledgement is being done. But in this, maybe once we use it, maybe we'll know it better. But I'm just wondering how the electronically eBG or NESL will give an update back to the issuing bank that this BG has been now accepted or he has been taken by the beneficiary, so that I can
Right.
update my customer also that the BG has been issued now.
So Douglas, right on the digital system. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Anshul.
No, I was just saying that there's no explicit acknowledgement or acceptance flow, but whenever EBG application is successfully signed and submitted into the IU's portal, all the parties do receive emails from NESL. So that can be considered as an acknowledgement. I know it is not as explicit as getting it signed that you received this document, but when it is stored into NESL's portal, NESL triggers the notification to all the parties involved. So this step can be taken as an indicator that the file actually got it.
So Douglas, right now you'll have the trail of the send. So you'll have a verifiable proof that this was sent to
It
the
has been sent.
beneficiary. But ultimately, them opening the email is not it's not currently an obtainable like mode of
Okay.
acknowledgement. Like we cannot obtain, like measure if or record if they've opened that email. So right now it seems like the eBG system runs on like the rest of digital document execution, where the sending is the proof that okay, it has on this date
There.
been sent to all parties. But as you said, we'll have to
The
see
receipt
once
is,
the
yeah,
system is in
receipt is,
practice what
yeah,
happens.
receipt is not been yeah, that is one.
Correct.
Second is, so one more thing which you said is, for sending BG, there is no requirement of a beneficiary to be a member of the NE or or legality, sorry, he may not be, right? He may or may not be a member. But yeah, beneficiary will not be a member or may not be a member of NeSL. But for the further amendment and for invocation, he has to be a member of NeSL. Then only this can come from beneficiary. Okay.
Correct, correct,
Okay, got
correct.
it.
If the
Got it.
bank, just in addition to this, if a bank is taking the decision to amend it, and if they are doing the flow, so the flow is similar to how you had the issuance flow, there they can select the event type as amendment. If they can go ahead and do that, they'll still be able to do that. But if a beneficiary wants to request
Yeah.
that, for that they'll need to get registered.
They'll have to be a member. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
So the request is coming from beneficiary, either for invocation or for amendment.
Correct.
Then he has to be a member of NeSL. Okay.
Correct.
Correct, correct.
Okay, got it. Thanks, yeah.
Thanks, Douglas. So 2 more questions. And then Amit will come back to you as well. So Vipul, I've unmuted you. You can go ahead and ask your question.
So my question is in continuation what the Hermas has asked. Suppose if there is some technical issue and a beneficiary has not received that notification of the receipt of that particular BG, is there any option to re-trigger that particular bank guarantee?
As a sender, as I showed it to you, that you have the signed document with yourself. So you can use that, and you also have the information of the beneficiary. So you can use that signed document and send it to the beneficiary outside the platform if you want to.
Yeah,
So
it will be a
outside the
PDF
legality, I
document.
will. Okay, so
It will be a
outside
PDF.
legality, I have to do that, not from the legality then system.
Actually, the
So
final
the
image is triggered by NeSL. We can't re-trigger that notification, but the content of it, which is the
Yeah,
signed
so
document.
Vipul, that document will be available on Leegality for you. So in case, let's say the beneficiary is saying, hey, I did not get it. You can simply through the Leegality portal, go to that specific eBG, download the file and send it as a backup. And yes, that sending would have to be outside of either Leegality or NeSL environment. It would be via email or WhatsApp or however you want to send it.
Okay. My second question is with respect to the stamp duty payment. So how this going to work? The bank will have some wallet kind of a thing wherein they
Yes.
have to fund that particular wallet of with
Correct.
NeSL.
Correct, Vipul. You'll have to maintain a wallet with NeSL and you'll have to fund it. It's a prepaid wallet that you'll have to fund with credits.
Okay. Okay. Third one is just now you said like the Tamil Nadu, they have some specific system wherein they can access the beneficiary can access the BG from that particular system as well. So for other state also, do we have any other such kind of a things with the other state, or
There's
only that Tamil Nadu has? Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
So only Tamil Nadu has that kind of a facility, or any other state also have that kind of system or access?
So there's another portal which is GEM that is also come up, but so far we just know of Tamil Nadu having this portal.
I'm sure
there
other states will also come up with it, or there may be for other states. It's just that our current live use case happens to be Tamil Nadu focused, so we're aware of it. But I'm sure even if those don't exist right now, one, I'm sure there are other states that do it right now. We'll also try to find out that information. But two, in case there aren't, I'm sure it will come in. Given that the eBG ecosystem is quite nascent right now, I'm sure in a few months to a year, there'll be a lot more states with their government marketplaces, their government procurement systems directly plugging into NeSL as well.
Okay. One more thing on the NeSL website, I can see that there are 7 beneficiaries which they have listed down, 7 or 8 beneficiaries. At present, do you mean that only that particular 7 or 8 beneficiaries are accepting the bank guarantee from the NeSL, and rest they are still not yet accepting the BG from the NeSL? Is
Yeah,
that
Vipul,
what?
I think based on that reading, and I've seen that on the website as well, and given it's very nascent as well, the eBG process, it would seem it's not that they are the only ones accepting it, it's that they're the only ones who are also performing further actions on NeSL. There may be other beneficiaries who are simply accepting the BG and then through the bank invoking it and things like that outside of the NeSL platform, where it could still be getting signed by NeSL as a digital signature with a digital stamp, but all the other management is happening outside of it. So I would do 2 parts. I would say that in terms of full eBG lifecycle management, it would obviously only be the beneficiaries that you saw on the website onboarded onto the NeSL platform. But if you're looking at just issuance, that may not be true. But also, obviously, there's no way to find out that data because there won't be any website data who is just simply accepting it, say, as a signed PDF or a stamped PDF copy. So 2 parts. For full eBG lifecycle management, right now it would be those 7. But NeSL is constantly working to onboard more and more beneficiaries, of course. So I think the ecosystem in 6 months or even 9 months or a year will be radically different. And I think 80% of at least government entities would be on it as beneficiaries. But in terms of actual issuance, just the issuance part without the rest of the management being done digitally, that could be many more, because ultimately it's a digitally signed and stamped document and PDF that you're getting. So it would work out the same as the physical flow. You get it digitally signed and stamped, say, via the NeSL flow. And then, of course, the rest of the management would be as in status quo, physical, coordinating with the bank and things like that, but using a PDF file and not a physical file. So yeah, that I think is the lay of the land so far.
Okay, perfect. That's
Just
it. That's it
adding
from
to
my
Great,
side.
thanks.
Thank you.
just adding to our previous discussion, so with just a quick Google search, I could see Tripura also has a Jetnik portal. So I'm sure a lot other states would also have similar processes in place.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Upal. Bani, I've given you mic access. You can ask your question.
Something about automated eSign. If you could please explain that further.
Sure. Yeah, this was specifically, I think, Anshul, the automated bank signatory signatures. So this can be basically done through a DocSigner plugin. So the DocSigner is a form of digital signature. Just you could think of it like a DSC token stored on a server issued to a company, and it automatically affixes the sign once there are certain conditions met. So the condition would be that once the eBG, for example, is sent out, once all the form data is filled in, and once it's fully sent out, then the bank signature is automatically affixed. So this technology called DocSigner, which is permitted in India today as a digital signature under the IT Act, you simply procure a DocSigner like you procure a DSC, say, from a certifying authority. You simply plug that DocSigner into Leegality. We have a DocSigner plugin built in. And in the workflow configuration, what Anshul showed you when she was sending the document, you can simply, in signature type, add DocSigner to it as well. So there is some initial configuration that's needed. But once that initial configuration is done, basically what will happen is that once there is the eBG issued, there will be an automatic DocSigner based sign that's affixed on the document. Anshul, you can add or correct.
That's just another addition. One new feature that NeSL has launched with eBG is that you can use NeSL just for e-stamping purpose, and then you can have a doc signer or automated, any kind of automated flow, and then you can sign using Legality's e-signing journey to sign the document. So stamping gets done automatically within a matter of 1 to 2 seconds, and then once you have sent the document, and then you can use any of the options that are available with Leegality to e-sign the document. So that way you don't have to go through the entire NeSL journey authenticating and go through various steps. You can choose one of those options.
And there, one of those options can be the automated DocSigner, which is a way of automatically affixing a bank validated signature, digital signature, onto the document, completely automatically through the bank's servers. We have some banks and NBFC clients using this for digital lending use cases, where in digital lending guidelines, they have to affix a bank signature. So we've extended that functionality to eBG as well. Happy to discuss that in more detail if you want to see how that specific feature works, but technically it's via the DocSigner system. So if you want to do further research, a DocSigner is the relevant feature name.
Okay, and how many signatories can be permitted under this part?
You can add, Anshul, if I'm not wrong, you can add as many in the eBG flow. You can add as many signatories.
Right. There's no limit as such.
Yeah. So Bani, one thing to remember about DocSigner is that it's actually a fundamental change. So in usual authorized signatory flow, what it is that there's a specific person signing, saying on behalf of the bank. With DocSigner, what it is, it's actually the bank that is signing. So it's basically a signature issued to a corporate entity.
Persons, this will not come in. Like an individual's name or something would not
An
come.
individual's name would not come in under a DocSigner. Although I'm not sure. I think this I'm not sure on again. I think there was a way to do it for an individual person. I think, but as far as I know, DocSigner is issued for a company and a company basically signs on it. So it's basically a way to set up a recurring, consistent, automated company signing system, removing the need for actually that authorized signatory themselves to be there, because ultimately the authorized signatory is there as a representative of the bank. So they are signing because fundamentally in the physical flow, a company cannot actually physically sign. So you need a person to do it. But in a digital flow, a company can configure a doc signer, doing a company KYC, obtaining a doc signer, configuring the passkey, configuring access to that passkey, putting that doc signer in the flow, and ensuring that doc signer runs. So in a digital flow, you could say it's like a different system that allows for something that the physical flow would never actually physically allow for.
Aditya, just
Understood.
automated signers are also available with automated virtual sign. So if you want to explore that, or
Yeah. So we also have another system, which is not a doc signer method, which is a virtual sign. So you can configure certain authorized signatories virtual signature, like a digital version of their physical signature in legality. So if you want a specific person to be tied to that signature, that's also possible.
Okay. Okay. Other question I had was about suppose we have some eBGs already issued through NeSL. Okay,
Right.
and then we further, is it possible that in case the beneficiary raises any invocation or closure request, can that flow through legality, or the eBG should have been issued through legality to further then come into this, to show it in the notifications and all?
yes, another feature that NeSL has come up very recently with is hybrid BG. For all the paper-based bank guarantees that you currently have, you can convert
No,
them.
no, I'm not talking about the hybrid. Suppose there's a normal, regular, full eBG directly, which has already been issued since,
Right.
say, we have issued it right now.
Right.
Okay, and then in the future, there is a invocation request from the beneficiary.
Correct.
Okay. But that time, that issuance which was done was through our regular, right now, through, say, our
Right.
CBS, which is being done.
Right.
Okay, but the invocation now we are, say, doing it through, say, now will it flow through legality? Would our invocation request be visible over there?
Yeah, so that is what NaSL is calling hybrid BG. When you have issued a bank guarantee in a paper
No,
based,
Anshul, this would be a
No,
bank
I'm
guarantee
saying
issued via digital as well. It's
via,
an eBG.
yeah, NeSL eBG only. We have issued it
yeah,
regular. So currently we are already onboarded and we are issuing regularly. Correct. So I'm saying, will it flow through that, or if we have issued via legality only, then the invocation request or closure request would flow in?
correct. So you can take the same route here. You can first, the condition here is the first event that you take on a non-EBG, non-NESL based EBG, the first event needs to be either amendment or renewal. After that, you can use whichever events, but first event needs to be renewal or amendment. So you can upload your document, the bank guarantee document that you have, and then you can there also you'll need to select hybrid bank guarantee because we are converting from a different kind of bank guarantee to an NESL based EBG. And there you
So
can
that is the hybrid. I'm saying, no, we have issued a regular EBG through NESL. Correct.
okay through
No,
any
regular through NESL, we have issued a EBG, but not via legality through our current whatever is the system.
yeah, then you can go ahead
Then
and
the future,
yes,
in the
yes,
future, if there is any invocation, will it be visible in the notification?
got it. I'm sorry, I didn't understand it earlier, but if you have used NESL only to issue a bank guarantee,
Hmm.
then if any invocation occurs on that bank guarantee, see, you can certainly take steps like amendment and renewal if you want to do from bank's side. If you do that from your side, you'll be able to, and then subsequent actions are taken by the beneficiary, then definitely you'll be able to see them. But if it is not, I think I'll have to check. We did try for this one case there. It should work, but I'll have to confirm and like I'll have to check and confirm it with you.
Sure.
But I think it should work. Yeah.
What we'll also do is, I think in a couple of days when we share the recording, some of the questions, we'll send a wrap up of the FAQs. So Bani, like your question where we need to check, we'll check, and actually in the email with the recording, we will answer that question.
Sure. And the last question, towards the end, you showed that you could assign different reviewers to different actionables. So, like for the invocation, you can assign certain reviewers, only they would be able to take any action. So, how many is that? 3 or something? That way, I was not sure the number you said.
Yeah, you can have up to 3 reviewers per event. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that is the current limit that we have. But if you have a request where it can go further,
Hmm.
this is something that we can explore.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. So Amit, we'll come back to you. I think Actually, okay. Vipul, your hand is still raised. Is there any follow-up you want to do? And Douglas as well, your mic is
No,
Hey,
on.
no,
hi.
nothing.
No, I have just one query, maybe a short one. So, can we use a paper-based BG issuance? Franking or the stamping can be done from Leegality. I'll issue a paper-based BG. Okay, I'll issue a BG1. But for stamping, can I use Leegality? Maybe I just thought.
So it would be that you would get the eBG. So I just want to game it out. You would get the eBG. You would be a physical eBG. You would upload the scan onto Leegality for stamping. That's the flow you're envisioning, right?
Correct. So I'll have a physical BG issued. I'll stamp it, I'll sign it, and I'll keep it ready. But only for stamping, only for my stamping part, can I use Leegality and I can get that stamping and append it with my original BG and send it to my. I think this should be possible. Right?
Anshul, you want to take that? Or is this something we'll have to check this exact flow because usually it's stamping and then stays digital. So are you intending to then print it out after? So Anshul, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, so the point is when we are getting the stamping done from NeSL, the request gets created at NeSL side from what I understand. And then finally, when all the signing is done, either via NeSL or via Leegality or any kind of digital channel, then we submit the final completed document back to NeSL. This is how the route gets completed. So I don't think this will work.
Okay. So you're saying NeSL, suppose if he uses NeSL, then that has to be digital. So it should not be used for paper wala BG. That's what you're trying to say.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
In your current flow, if I can ask a follow-up, where is the physical one coming from for you to then upload and do it digital? Because if there's a physical, yeah.
So currently we don't have any eBG mechanism, so we don't issue. As we speak, we don't issue any eBG. We are using only physical BGs. Yeah, we are taking stamping from the banks over here, local banks.
Got it.
So we just thought, because as you rightly said, there are majorly 99% will be a physical BG, even after eBG, though the numbers will come down ultimately once beneficiary will come into this NeSL portal. But as we speak, 99% is still the paperwork BG. So we just thought is there whether I can get this stamping done with this.
But
and
the eBG
use
draft, the final draft is being printed by you, or it's being like given to you for then issuance?
Then the final draft is given by my team, my operation team, to the
Right.
individual branches,
Right.
and they append the stamp papers on it, and then they give it to the BG to the beneficiary. So,
Right.
so
in
there
this
are
process,
issues in getting in the stamping because the banks which issues their stamps, they take 1 or 2 days for giving the stamps. So,
understood.
so if this is immediate, then can we use this option? That's why I was trying.
Yeah. But then Douglas, I would say that you would not need the physical printout right now because 99% is that's what we're all comfortable with. But basically in this process from your current operational flow, basically once your team has finalized the bank guarantee, then as a PDF, it can either be centrally via your team itself stamped. So the need for it going to the branch to get the stamping, that leg can itself be completely cut out. Or if you want to still have them be a part of it, then you can basically give them each user access to Leegality where you send the PDF to them and then they upload it, get it stamped and issue it from the branch end, which would be more closely tied to your current physical process as well. Which is that printout initially won't need to happen. But of course, post issuance management, whether the beneficiary is comfortable with management,
That has to be checked. Thanks. Will do.
But that can be done. So once you issue it and once you execute it, it'll obviously be stored onto NeSL and things like that. But as Anshul mentioned, you get the PDF. So ultimately that PDF document will be digitally signed and can be sent via email or whatever to beneficiaries and things like that.
So just a follow-up question on this. So you are saying even if suppose as you said, the post issuance documents gets stored in the NeSL platform along with the stamps and my signature, e-signatures and everything. For example, if the beneficiary is asking, I want maybe he is not comfortable in checking those documents in NeSL portal, for example. Okay, can I give that BG to a customer by taking a printout?
You can do that. You can do
Can it be
that.
acceptable?
Yeah, that would be acceptable because they want to ultimately see the BG, see the terms of the BG. The only thing is if they want to perform an action, they want to say there's an amendment needed or a
amendment will come from applicant. That's okay. Invocation, for example, invocation.
That's a good question. So to be honest, I don't have an answer to that. How will that work? First time we're receiving this question. So I don't have an answer to whether the invocation must also therefore be on NeSL because it has been issued by
So my
NeSL.
query, for example, as you rightly said, no, majorly across the bank, it is the BG still now it is getting used by paper. Okay, let's be very honest. So can I issue the BG and store it in NeSL with all this stamping and e-signing and everything? And then instead of giving the paper BG, which I sign and give currently, can I take that download, can I print it and give it to the customer? So I don't know whether it will be acceptable to the customer. I'm not sure on that.
Let's give us some time to do that research. We'll definitely answer it in the follow-up that we send, because genuinely it's this scenario, as you mentioned, is probably very common, but it's the first time like we are being asked it. So I wouldn't want to give you a yes, no right away. I would also want to do some research on it and get back to you, but we'll definitely get back to you on this. Like we'll also check whether, I think the main action item you're thinking of is invocation, like practically speaking.
Yeah,
like whether they can
whether they can invoke it. Yeah.
Invoke it, because right now the invocation in digital EBG happens, or eBG happens via NeSL portal itself. We'll get back to you on that.
Sorry, Vipul here. In the same question, suppose in case beneficiary submit the invocation physically instead of through NeSL or Leegality, he submit the physical. Then from the bank side, can bank create one particular kind of transactions in the Leegality for that invocation?
Anshul, would hybrid eBG? Great question. I'm wondering if hybrid eBG would work in this scenario.
Can you explain that?
For example, suppose we issue the bank guarantee from the Leegality, the eBG, okay, from the Leegality NeSL. Beneficiary is not the NeSL member. Okay, however, he has received the bank guarantee copy through email by the notification and everything. Now he beneficiary, since he is not a member of NeSL, he cannot go and log in into the NeSL for submitting the invocation. So instead of submitting invocation through digitally, can he submit the physical invocation to the bank, and then bank in turn log in into the Leegality and pass an entry in that particular BG of the invocation?
They can. What bank needs to do is, as I showed you the issuance flow where you upload a document and then you add some details and add a signer, then you can upload a copy saying that this is invoked, and then you add the details again, and in the event you select as invocation, and then you can go ahead and sign. So one thing to note is, even if a beneficiary is raising a request for invocation and bank accepts it, in order to invoke it marked as invoked in NeSL system, they'll need to redo this journey where they upload a document, say that this is invoked, and add the details, and then complete the journey. That would still be required. So to answer your question, if the beneficiary comes to you directly through an offline channel and says that they want to invoke, you can still do that journey. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Got it. Actually, yesterday we have to receive.
Yeah. All right. Douglas, you have your hand raised. Is there a follow-up to the current discussion? Otherwise, I'll move on to Amit, who had a follow-up pending for a while.
No, nothing from my.
Okay, great. I think so. We'll answer that question on the physical invocation. Can it be done by this? I think this hybrid system could also work. We'll definitely answer that question on email that you had. Amit, you had a follow-up from before. So if you want to continue that discussion now.
Hello?
Yeah, Amit, we can hear you.
I think many of the queries are resolved. I'm okay with that. So no questions right away. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks, Amit. Great. Are there any other questions? You can unmute. Whoever's got mic access, you can unmute and ask directly without raising your hand. If anyone else wants mic access, you can raise your hand. Great. Then I think we'll wrap up the webinar in a minute. So we will send the recording of both the session and the Q&A. We will also share answers. So there were a couple of questions which we could not answer in this session. So we will do some research and get back to you with answers to those questions as well in the subsequent email. So give us a couple of days. You will receive the recording and you'll receive those FAQs via email. But otherwise, thanks a lot for the questions. I genuinely don't think we've received so many questions, and questions of such depth in any of our previous webinars before. So thank you for that, because it's also thrown up new questions for us to answer that we've not received before. And that's always helpful for a new product. So thanks again for all the questions and the depth of those questions as well. Really appreciate it. With that, you can always reach out to me or Anshul anytime. You can reach out to Leegality as well anytime. Right? Here's the contact details again if you want to discuss the eBG suite. Again, support@leegality.com, or if you're a customer, or enquiry@leegality.com if you're not a customer. And in the email as well that we'll be sending you, there will be other details as well on how to reach out to us for this. I suspect a lot of solutioning and micro solutioning will need to be done. Great. With that, thanks so much, Anshul, for your time as well and for the detailed webinar. And
It's a pleasure.
yeah, I think we'll wrap up the webinar. And thanks again to the attendees for the level of questions, number of questions, and the depth of questions, and for attending on a Tuesday evening.